ours just to do whatever we want to, but we have to follow the confines.
Right.
And the same thing would happen with that property. Yep. Any other questions? Okay.
Is that it, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Okay, code enforcement, he was here and gone. We covered that pretty thoroughly. Okay, committee reports, municipal authority. The only thing I would bring up is Patty advertised for the appointment. Anyone who's interested in being considered, we will appoint a new member at the reorganizational meeting, and there is a deadline. You must apply by
January 2nd at noon.
January 2nd at noon. So if anybody out there is watching and decides they want to apply, that's the deadline. Okay, we have one applied so far.
And just for clarification, the application is just a letter of interest.
Correct.
Is it a 5-year appointment?
Yes. Okay, Brian, street foreman.
The only really thing I have is with the gym, when they do the basketball things, if dog gets that, we'll be more than welcome to help them with putting down whatever they need for the.
Protection. You guys will know what to do
Oh, yeah.
to protect.
I've worked with dogs several different times, so.
And good relationship, very well. Thank you. Anything else? Meyersdale Merchants, Ryan?
Good evening, everyone. On the mama side, we will not have a monthly meeting for December. That meeting would have been scheduled for December 17th. Given close proximity to holiday, we're going to back that off. So our next scheduled meeting will be January 21st, 6 p.m. at the Meyersdale Elks Lodge. Small business Saturday came and gone. That was a success. Unfortunately, I don't have all the stats on it, but everyone participating in it was really happy with it. So as soon as I get some more stats on that, I will get them out to you. About 2 months ago when I was in here, we talked about the Lady Bird Johnson Memorial banner. We are still waiting for approval on the grant. We should hear something back by that here closer toward the end of December. We were asked to do a small revision on that grant, so I know it's going somewhere. And I hope that revision means it's going to get passed, but I just don't have word on it. When I talked to you last time, the quote that we had was for $7,400. That was material alone for that billboard. I've asked for another quote because when I realized that quote was to cover not the entire billboard, but where the banner currently is. If you take a look at that banner, you have about another 4 feet of poles sticking up. So I figured if we're going to do this, let's do it right and take up the whole billboard space, which unrelated to Johnson, we should be able to restore it back to its original configuration, but we can make no other modifications. So as soon as I get that new quote in, I'll make everyone aware of it. And probably in January, we'll get hot and heavy on seeking out funding. So hopefully we'll get that done before Maple Festival. And
Does that sign sit in the Commonwealth right away?
I don't exactly know.
Just the only reason I ask that is it might be easier to redo that sign than you think, because the Lady Bird Johnson signs reverted evidently in the 1980s, like right around 1986, 87, to the property owners because they had a bunch of, it was one of the many things that the government has done where they create a program that didn't properly fund it. So, let me know if you need anything on that, but I think you might be able to proceed easier than what they're making it out.
Okay. We appreciate that. Farmers market, I'm gonna skip on down to the next topic, Bill. Unless do you have any questions on Marks Associates? Right. So the farmers market, that committee is tabled until beginning of January. So with our next meeting, we're gonna get hot and heavy back on that. There's one thing I would ask maybe to consider looking at down there at the pavilion. Brian and I talked about it. There's a drainage ditch that goes right through the middle of it. And in my opinion, that's a pretty good fall hazard. We have a pretty good population of elderly people. Every week we have at least 3, if not 4 wheelchairs come through. There are multiple people on walkers and multiple people with canes. I cringe every time I see someone going near that little drainage ditch. It's about 2.5 inches deep at the beginning. Of course, it pans off. Would there be any possibility of maybe putting rain gutters up, and then we can fill that ditch in? Is there any kind of possibility of that? Because like I said, I cringe every time someone walks through that.
That would be the only thing that would help it. I mean, it would- That ditch was put in there to divert the water directly across.
Could you guys handle that?
Rain gutters.
I have a great guy that will come over, Cap and Civets. They do all our stuff. John's great. They're in Somerset. He would come over with his truck, run a piece down there. Then I would do a gutter down at one of the corners of the building. And then if you could dig a trench and take it beyond, you'd have to go under the track and go down by the carports and daylight it down there and get that water diverted away from the building. But John, if we talk to him, he might even, when he's over here, run it for us for nothing. And I think Norm has a piece of downspout. But it'd be nice to get rid of that hazard.
It's pretty deep on it. Like, well, it's about 2.5 inches deep and it's, what do you say, about 12 to 18
Oh,
inches
at least
wide.
12.
It's, like I said,
It should be
I'm
fixed.
not warning everyone about it, but that's all I have unless you have any questions of me.
Questions?
Maybe put that on the agenda for the next meeting, so
So it doesn't get lost. Thanks, Brian.
we'll.
Go ahead and put that.
I had one sort of related. So Duckhorn, he's going ahead. He's doing the 6 tables that we discussed, up to $1,500. I think he got with Patty about the account up there. So he's working on that. Brian and I talked a little bit. Maybe we save the money, the excess money, the $2,400 minus the 15, whatever, towards the gutters and that work. If not, we talked a little bit about, there's not a lot of counter space in that pavilion. Maybe we would do a built-in microwave and a new stove in there at some point.
The stove down there is functional, just not efficient, meaning it's old. The microwave is functional, but not convenient, meaning it takes up space. So if there's a way to either raise it up or get a smaller one or something in there that clear up a lot of counter space. They are a little bit old, but the refrigerator, freezer, all that down there, there's nothing wrong with any of that.
So I looked today and at Lowe's, they have those, the low profile over the range microwaves that go in the place of a, like a fan. And they have one on sale right now for, it was regularly $732 for $349, about half price. I think it would be a nice improvement down there.
Well, it was my understanding that this money for picnic tables, but it could be utilized for anything specifically in that concession stand, like if we wanted to get a new microwave or increase the countertops. And Marty Ann seemed to think that she would be able to fund some more, assuming we use this, what we have for next year, because they're so thrilled with the way the borough has cooperated with the summer lunch program. So, I mean, I'd say if you need it, get it.
One of the other things Brian and I talked about the other day too is electrical, increasing the ampage down there, because you have to not plug certain things in when like you have a DJ or something like that.
Yeah, so we have, Brian, correct me wrong, there's a total of 4 outlets down there. 2 of them are hardwired together. So right now, the only thing we've been plugging in down there was some fans and stuff like that, not a problem. When they did come with the speakers and everything, we could not plug them into one. The 2 closest to the concessions, they run together. So if we were ever going to increase and have more people with concessions needing electricity and everything else, I just think maybe we could increase the ampage in there. I don't know how hard that is to do, but maybe make it so we're not blowing things out. We just had to move some things around and figure out how we weren't going to blow everything out.
We'd have to get Leroy to come in there and
He's actually coming at some point. The wire that goes into that building is loose.
could you ask him to give us a price that,
I'm not.
now, do we know what all blows out? Like which sockets It just needs more electricity,
Yeah, you just
more,
need more amp. It's-
more juice.
If you plug in two things around 1200 watts a piece, you're gonna blow them out.
I think it's only 100 amp service down
So
there.
I could change it to
So you
200.
could put 200 amp service.
Maybe get a price and see what that is too. Again, if we come up with a number of projects for down there going forward, I think, we may get some financial help.
I can call Leroy tomorrow if you want me to. He's coming anyhow.
Since this microwave is half price, I know I paid a lot more than that per month. Should we ask Patty to snag that? Just order it online and have it?
I would do a
Ship
motion to
from
say
Lowe's.
have it,
Okay, you making that as a motion, Karen?
Yeah, it's a Whirlpool. I'll send it to Patty.
Are you seconding it, Barry?
Yeah.
You're nodding.
I thought Barry said he was gonna donate.
Thanks, Barry.
Okay, and Jenny, a second for the microwave? Okay. All
Patty,
those
if you
in
just
favor
call
say
me, I'll
aye.
give you the information.
Opposed? Patty, you can order the microwave for the concession area.
I say one thing about that, just real quick.
Sure.
If that's an over the range, there's nothing over that range down there right now. The range is against the wall. Don't you need counters or shelving to mount the microwave to?
There's not a cabinet over the stove?
No, there's
No.
a vent
Yeah, there's a
there,
vent.
but you can move that microwave. The microwave doesn't need to be,
Oh.
well, if you're looking for a vent, I guess. There's the counter,
Ends at the stove.
You should at least get it once.
there's a cabinet right there.
There's no cabinets over the stove. And probably what you're thinking about is the cover for the hot water tank.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, unless somebody could go in there and build something, put cabinets in to mount that. And again, this is totally up to you guys. Leroy, while he's there, we can have him do it while he's down there. Just install everything.
Well, we have a motion that's passed to go ahead and order it, so I guess let's get it and then we'll get it mounted. Unless we want to everybody,
Who's that from, Karen?
Look,
Those.
like I say, heck of a good price.
okay, try to keep moving here. Library, Terry, come up front, give us a good report.
First of all, I'd like to express thanks to the borough and to all our donors, businesses, individuals who have given us financial help through this year, and also volunteers. And a special thank you, Dr. Roger Hansen has really done a wonderful job with our landscaping and now with decorating us for the holidays. We're at the time of year where we tend to scale back activities because the weather makes them a little precarious sometimes. But our story hour is going well every Friday for preschoolers and their families. And we have our Lego Club still on Wednesdays. And we had some very successful historical programs through this year. And one of them actually in October drew 58 people into the library. And there was not room for 58 people in the library. People were all over the place listening to the program. Part of why we are looking at trying to find more space and make more space. But we continue to loan out between 1,100 and 1,400 checkout items, books, DVDs, audiobooks each month. And we just love serving the people of this area. And I thank you all for your support.
Thank you. Any questions of Terry? Thank you. We always enjoy your presence. Thank you very much. Okay, community events. You guys report?
We had light up night that I think went rather well. Little glitch here and there, but you know, Jeff rallied around and helped and the committee rallied around, so that all went well. I think going forward, we're thinking more of having it here in the gym because of the weather, because it's so bitter cold for the kids to be outside. So we're kind of looking at that angle of having that part of it here. And the kids seem to enjoy it. I heard that Mike Petenbrink took 110 pictures to give you an idea of how many kids were around. And going forward now, we don't have anything really until Easter.
February's the next meeting.
Yeah, February's next meeting, and then we're probably looking at doing
27th.
stuff for Easter.
Do you meet up at the Elks?
Yes.
I had one thing for you guys. I just got it this afternoon. So the bank, I guess, when they decorated, said the tree is toast. The
Yes,
gazebo.
yes.
So I reached out to Nina that we just got all the Christmas lights from. And for our commercial tree, they have a 7.5 foot, they have a 9 foot. And I'm afraid the 9 might be too tall. But it's a commercial, we can expect to get 10 years out of it. It's pre-lit, it's warm white, all of that. So for that, it's $1,073.16. If we did the 9 foot, it's $1,748.52. And I have a donor reviewing the bid I got this afternoon. They've preliminarily said they'll take care of it for us. It's a lot different. It's meant for the outdoors. It's a lot different than what you get at a box store. The base is on wheels so that it would, I have a picture of it. It's a very full tree. Like I say, meant for the outside, pre-lit, we could hope to get. So I'm waiting. He's asked for permission from his marketing company to fund that. So hopefully I'll have that in the next few days.
Wonderful.
Anything else, Jenny,
No.
Clarence?
Well, I do have a question. So if we do hear about that, maybe this is something we want to make a motion on to save work from our people. Should we, if we get permission, if they're going to pay for the new tree, should we donate the tree we have to someone, another town that doesn't have a tree? I mean, it's decent if somebody wanted to use it. And then we wouldn't have to tear it down. We wouldn't have to store it. And they could just come get it, you know, after the first of the year.
I see no problem with that at all.
Motion?
Motion.
Second. All those in favor of donating our existing tree when we get the new one, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
Are they gonna go with 7.5?
Yes. Yeah, because you said that 9 would be too big to handle it,
It'll be too tall for.
the building. Okay, Renaissance, we usually don't have too much on that. Let's go to council member standing committee, police, public safety, personnel, finance we did, refuge, the streets. I guess we're going to meet and review that in the new year, the new council, the family restroom, gym door update, flood control, grants. What's that?
I have a report on that.
Good. Go ahead, then I have some things too. Go ahead.
Okay, so after our last meeting, I was asked to reach out to Aspire and to our engineer about any grant programs. And I heard back from Michelle actually after the meeting. So they were looking into it, and then like a week later, I got an email. I think I told you guys. Pam took our ICUS, and Michelle went and met with the governor's office about our issue with the debris field, and we're waiting to hear back on that. Kevin sent me a report today on the debris basin cleanout project. There's 2 grants that he's talking about. There's a flood mitigation program through DCED, which is what the $235,000 I got last year for the riprap is through. And then there's a federal program. The federal program doesn't really talk about specifically what we want to do. So my recommendation is we should go back to DCED, Kevin thought we're in the ballpark of like 250 to do the debris clean out. These grants cannot exceed $500,000. We should get with him if we decide to pursue it, and get this submitted in February. It requires a 15% match. But again, increased, like we went, what, 25% on the riprap and we got it. So I would recommend that again, because it says an increased match will make an application more competitive. So at 250, what is that? 250 times
I wonder if
20.
the debris basin is as full as it was before.
Oh, it's worse.
It's worse.
Because what's the total expenditure last time was over 400,000, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
It was a good bet.
It was.
Well, that's what he said we got in 2017, 2018, I think. He referenced that. So say it's 250,000 we asked for, just saying, times 25%, if that's what we agreed to in a match, that'd be 62.5.
Let me chime in. I was in touch with Kevin. We were going back and forth, Pat Stefano and I. And he did say that the DCED has made a decision and we cannot change the scope. That's out. We were refused that along with other communities too, maybe 3 or 4. Now, just FYI here, the last time we cleaned this basin out was in 2019. And again, Kevin, I have texted here, $280,000. The total project was about $410,000. $280,000 is what we paid in 2019, and the $410,000 we paid the balance from the 280 to DAR to fix the wing wall. So the whole deal was 410. According to what he told me, he would estimate between $300,000 and $325,000 to have this cleaned out because of it's 6 years later, and because of like you said, the increase in the. So I did mention it to Pat Stefano, and he said, well, he was just curious. He said it is a chunk of change. So whatever's available, I would like to see us, but I would say if we're going to apply, according to what Kevin told me, we should probably apply for either 300 or 325.
I make the motion that we get Kevin rolling on this. We haven't spent that much on grants and we've gotten like $250,000 for it. So I think it's worth the effort to apply. And so my motion would be that we get moving, we apply for the DCED. Kevin can tell us the dollar amount, that's fine. And I say we increase the match to 25% because that's what we did last time when we were successful.
I'll second that.
Okay, first and second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. I'd like to make a remark here about this riprap. I really never did understand, where did they want this riprap? I talked to Kevin Yoder today. He didn't know. He said this may be percolated from some inspection. Brian doesn't know. Terry Baker doesn't know. Where is this riprap supposed to go?
It's supposed to go down at the holding pond,
At the other end.
at the lower end.
But we have supposedly over $1 million between the DEP and Army Corps of Engineers that they're gonna fix all that down there where the erosion was. Remember that, at least the last I heard, that was on the radar screen and it was
You want to
approved.
know how that started?
Yeah,
That did start during an inspection. It wasn't from DEP. It was from the Army Corps
Mhm.
that believed that needed to be replaced. And it actually, I think, occurred when they reviewed the project that we were trying to do. And then we have the funding for that hasn't been able to be
I forget,
scoped.
it's, what, 1,200 feet?
Yeah.
12 or 1,300 feet of riprap from the bridge below the holding.
but there is riprap there already. So did they want it up higher?
the majority of that bank washed out. So the bank is washing into the backside of the holding pond, which is jeopardizing the holding pond bank. So they want to build that back out in order to save the bank on the holding pond, if that makes sense.
It does make sense, but that's what the big cooperation between the DEP paying our share of the Army Corps of Engineer. It's, the last I heard, it was over $1 million. And they were supposed to do that, I'm assuming, this summer.
And nothing ever happened.
Well, as long as the funding comes through, because that all got waylaid federally, not only by the federal shutdown, but then there were a bunch of cutting measures.
That might be
happened with the
something
Army
we
Corps.
want to check into and just see if that's still on queue. Maybe I'll try to work on that.
Mark, didn't something happen when they closed that dump down there as far as the entrance? Didn't that affect that also?
You mean yeah, well,
To enter to put the riprap in.
yeah, they still have access because they have, if you look at the flood control, they have all kinds of right of ways and other things in place. But part of the reason why that was shut down is that's not supposed to be used that way.
Well, that's all covered up. It's all.
All righty. Well, unfinished business, the zoning ordinance review, we're going to hold that till January. New business announcements, we've taken care of opening the bids. Placement of the Christmas lights, I don't know if that's a big deal. Ryan, you had indicated that, were we afraid a truck could maybe knock the lights down where they are now, but then,
Yeah, and I think they'll be fine. I
Okay.
do. I drove my truck under them several times. State trucks went under them, and I think they'll be fine the way they are.
okay, D, PennDOT study, Main Street upgrading signage, road markings. Karen, I
So,
think you asked that to be put
yeah,
on.
Sunday a week ago, there was a hellacious wreck at the Legion at the tank at Broadway and Business 219, like hellacious. Total two vehicles, 3 people were transported in an ambulance to the hospital. One couple still pretty bummed up and we're at the doctor again today. I mean, it hit with such impact, it shattered the curb there. It was quite a wreck. The lady didn't even slow down coming up from like the fairgrounds towards 219 and just T-boned them, bounced them around. Like I say, total, a brand new truck. So my concern is we're there a lot. We did a lot of painting there this summer. There's a lot of traffic, 3,500 cars a day come in 219 from the north side through. Subway just came up for sale, so we had run all the numbers. There's also a lot of traffic comes up from Summit Township, up from the fairgrounds. And my concern is if that would have been an ATV, a small car, a motorcycle, whatever, we'd have very likely have fatalities. So I talked to PennDOT after that happened, and if we upgrade some signage there, road markings, whatever, that's a borough expense, even though it's PennDOT. Is it PennDOT there? Does it start on the lower side of 219? That becomes PennDOT.
Correct.
Okay, but it'd be ours. So if we call them back tomorrow, I talked to Somerset, I talked to Joe over there at PennDOT, and then I talked to Evansburg and I talked to Ernie. And Ernie said to call them back. They would come in and do a study on what we could do, whether it's road markings, we could do a bigger stop sign. They actually said in some cases, they put a stop sign on both sides of the road. I'm not sure about that. To the max of putting a stop sign there, because we've seen several wrecks there over the past couple of years, some pretty significant wrecks. We could get a lighted sign there that would flash like towards Lower Broadway. So there's lots of options. I would like permission to ask PennDOT come in, there's no cost to it, to come in and do a study on what they would suggest we do there to make that a safer intersection. If they recommended, and this is kind of at the high end of things, if they recommended the flashing stop sign there, that's like 12 grand. And that would be a borough expense. The good news is there's a grant for it that we would have to get our ducks in a row to apply for like in April. So if I have permission, I would really like them to come in and do a study.
Sure, the study doesn't cost anything. Anybody opposed to that?
Let's do a motion, see how it.
Yep. Ginny makes the motion and Clarence seconds it. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? That is another unanimous motion. And let's see here, we took care of, okay, additional items for discussion. Let's go around the table. We're just about finished here. Patty, Clarence, Ginny,
Thanks for my learning experience. And I'm sure you'll see me in the future.
Olivia. How, are you getting tired? It's a long meeting. Me too. Tom?
I think we'd be amiss if we didn't acknowledge the volunteers that did come in. Rich Berkeley and Roger Beal and Bishop Rodden, who came in on their own time and their own equipment, and Karen, who supplied the scaffolding. I think people volunteer, they should be acknowledged.
Yep.
That's it.
Patty, we could maybe even write a letter of thanks, appreciation. That's always nice to receive to the three that Tom just mentioned, Bishop and Roger, and
Oh, 4 actually.
who was the other one? Rich Berkeley? Was the-
Yeah,
Who's the other?
Berkeley.
Three. Who's the fourth one?
Karen did it, scaffolding.
And the scaffolding.
We're good.
Anything? No. The only thing I'll say is, Jillian, nice working with you, and best wishes with everything, and come in anytime and visit us.
Nothing.
Karen?
We skipped over goals and grants. So what I would like to see us start doing next year is coming up with a list of things we want to do, whether it's the ADA improvements, improvements on the pavilion down there, air conditioning, whatever. Get a list of goals for, the next year, 3 years, 5 years, and then look at the grants that are available. Because as we know, it takes a year or so to get grants. So I would like us to set some goals so that, like, with these ADA things we're gonna pay for, and if, there's grant money out there for that. So I hope everybody comes with, after the first year, some goals that they have, and then I'd be glad to work with Aspire and others and Steve and look for grants.
Jeff?
Nothing.
Fine.
7 different.
Okay, Patty, it is 8:36. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I will.
Jenny makes the motion and Ron seconds it. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Merry Christmas, everybody.